Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill, with us to continue the conversation. Niall, DeSantis doesn't trust the CDC, clearly. He's been quoted as saying that they are only advancing narratives, that people choosing not to get the vaccine were selfish and harmful, and that getting the shot was an ethical duty. What is DeSantis's real objective here?
I think his real objective is quite possibly political rather than scientific. Because what we know is that Republican voters are much more skeptical of vaccines, much less inclined to get vaccines, and more distrustful of health agencies in general. Now, of course, there are legitimate debates to be had about some elements of the pandemic, particularly lockdowns and school closures and the effects that those had. Vaccines aren't really part of that picture. I mean, we do have to stress the scientific evidence is overwhelming that vaccines are safe. The scientific evidence is overwhelming that they provide protection against death and serious disease. So I think this is primarily a political move.
You know, Xavier touched on this, but there's this analysis released this week from the Commonwealth Fund and Yale University. It found that COVID vaccines, prevented more than 3 million deaths, 18 million hospitalizations, and saved more than $1 trillion in medical costs in the U.S. But then you have the other side of the coin with the evidence of corruption when it came to COVID relief grants and loans and unemployment overpayment and increased scientific data. I'm quoting right now researchers from Tufts and UC San Francisco that COVID now is no longer more dangerous than influenza. So there are still these widespread debates over whether or not this was conducted correctly. But DeSantis wants to set up his own committee. What exactly would they do?
They would make recommendations in relation to what the right course of action is now. You mentioned at the top that Governor DeSantis is clearly very distrustful of the CDC and other governmental bodies. This is a panel that he is setting up, staffed by his own picks, including the Surgeon General in Florida. That Surgeon General is himself a rather controversial figure, but the panel itself is pretty clearly and explicitly intended as a counterweight to federal authorities in these matters.
Do you think that this is going to become as big as the opioid crisis? DeSantis has actually compared it to manufacturers of opioids. Do you think it has that much steam?
I know he has made that comparison, but there seem to me, Adrienne, to be just vast differences there. I mean, the opioid epidemic is an epidemic of addiction and death caused by overdose. That's not what DeSantis is insinuating in relation to COVID. He is insinuating that vaccines are less effective or that their effectiveness has been exaggerated. We know, tragically, that tens of thousands of Americans have died in the opioid epidemic, 80,000 overdoses last year alone. There's no evidence at all, that vaccines have created anything remotely resembling that.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how to prove wrongdoing in this particular instance, and then what to do to remedy that or to bring up an answer from that. Thank you so much, Niall.
Thanks, Adrienne.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.